This video is going to be an unboxing and mini review of the YN216 and YN900 from Yougnuo, as well as a mini review of their other lights. Alright, open up the box here. Everything's packed pretty well. We got the Y216 right here. This light runs off the same L-type batteries that the older models run off of. And also has a compartment on the back here that opens up and houses 6 AA batteries, which makes this pretty versatile. It also has a AC connection that runs off the same power supplies, the 8-volt power supplies that the YN600s run off of, which makes it really handy. The YN900 runs off of a 19-volt power supply that's a little bit bigger, but I will cover that when I unbox that. This mini flood, it's got the same style barn doors as all the other lights do. Circular pattern, 216 LEDs. This one is 550 or 5500 balanced daylight. It's got the same adjustments on the back as the other ones do. Has a fine course adjustment and a power indicator. This is what it looks like with the L series battery on the top. Turn it on. You got adjustments and fine adjustments, power indicator, and alright, now back to the box. We got color changing gels in here. We got CTO, red, clear diffusion, and CT blue. We got manuals in here. We got a hot shoe bracket with quarter 20 on the bottom. Standard flash bracket. You can pick this up at any discount store or at Amazon. Easily replaced. Alright, now we're going to go into the YN900 unboxing and the review after that. Here we go. Alright, we got some manuals, all in Chinese. We got the light right here on top. The panel itself is about the same size as the older YN600 panel. It's about twice as thick, but the frame of the LEDs is about the same size. It's just more densely packed. You got the same fan on the back. It runs on a new power supply that is a 19-volt power supply, which is a little bit bigger than the older 8-volt that the 600 runs on. I did a test because I have two 600 panels and a 300, and then I have a YN216 that I just finished an unboxing of before this, and those panels will not run off this 19-volt. They will not even turn on, so you don't have to worry about accidentally plugging in a 19-volt power supply and burning it out. The YN216 will run off of this one, which is the same 8-volt as the 600 panels do. Alright, so also we got the remote, which comes bubble wrapped. It's a little bit thicker, a little bit different design remote than the older ones that come with the 600. But same brightness dimmable on both, and channel switching. Runs off of AAA batteries versus the watch batteries that some of the other ones run off of. You've got the same grip handle for mounting on a light stand, and it also has the same quarter 20 that the original panels do. Alright, I'm now going to set this up on a stand and go over brightness settings. Alright, we're going to pick up with the review portion. I'm starting with the YN216. I'm running off the AC power adapter for the YN600, the 8-volt. We're going to start with undiffused, no gel on here, and cycle through the power output. I am currently at ISO 200. I'm about a stop under, roughly. I'm about a foot and a half away from my little actors here. We're going to kick on. This is dialing it down all the way to what would be 1% right there. This is undiffused hard light, 5500K balance, white balance in the camera set to auto. All right, we're dialing up through 20%, 30%, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. All right, now I'm gonna bounce off the ceiling. I got 10-foot ceilings in here. This is 100%, about my height, about 6 feet tall, bouncing off the ceiling, filling in. Now bouncing off the wall behind. Now bouncing off the table in front and using the light fall off from the LED panel to fill in. Alright, now I'm going to stick the clear diffusion on here. See what that looks like, as this is how most of us will be using this. Alright, this is clear diffusion at 100%, same distance away, about 1.5 feet, directly on the bubble heads. And then ceiling, wall behind, and on the table in front using the fall off to fill in. This is just a tad bit softer than the normal. All this diffuser really accomplishes is keeps the beady look from the LED off your subject. Now I'm going to swatch to the CTO filter, which would supposedly make it 3200 tungsten white balanced, and see how that looks. Alright, this is supposed to be full CTO, and this is 100% right on. It's doing a pretty good job of diffusing. I think this is close to accurate. I'll have to run another test after this review to double check, but this looks about 3200 to my eyes here. And then dial it in to fill, directly on, about 1.5 feet away. This light doesn't put out a crazy amount of output, but considering how small this thing is, I mean, this is my hand to the bobblehead here, and this is the light. So it's about 6 inches long, not counting the barred doors, about 3 inches tall. The pictures online make it look quite a bit bigger than it actually is. And it's kind of nice being as small as it is. Clip it on flash brackets, set up 3 in a circle, put it into a diffuser or something like that, and get really good output for dirt cheap. This is running about $60 US, with just a light, no batteries, no AC adapter or anything. The AC adapter runs about $20 depending on where you buy it. So for the amount of output and how small it is, I think it's a pretty dang good deal. Alright, I'm going to move on to the 900, testing output, and we're going to go from there. Alright, I'm picking up here with the YN900. This is the 900 bead panel. Running through the AC adapter, I'm going to dial in no settings. I'm at the same camera settings as before, ISO 200, f4.5, 1/50th of a second. This is with 1% dialed in on the 5500, about 1.5 feet away. I'm going to dial up through the 5500. Alright, that's 11%, 20%, 30%, 40%, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, and 100. Alright, this is directly on. This is bouncing off the wall behind. This is bouncing off the ceiling. And bouncing off the table in front. Alright, now I'm going to add the 3200K. This is at 0%, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, and full power on both settings, about 1.5 feet away. Getting about 5 stops over on the camera. If I dial that in, go from 4.5 to F18 to get proper exposure on the bobbleheads. And obviously that's blowing everything else out, or underexposing everything else. Okay, put it back at 4.5. Okay, bouncing off the wall. Bouncing off the ceiling. And bouncing off the table. Alright, next I'm going to let this sit for a minute and check fan noise. I've been running this entire walkthrough with 2 YN900s right next to me. And from what I can tell through my headphones, I can't hear any fan noise. Recording into the Rode NT1, about 6 to 8 inches in front of me. It's a pretty quiet studio mic, so maybe a little more apparent if you're running stereo mics, but with a shotgun, even doing interviews, you're not going to pick up any noise off of these. I'm going to put up a picture on screen with what my setup right now looks like. I got the YN900 about 12 inches away from the camera, right next to it, and can't really hear much fan noise. There's a little bit that picks up, but it's pretty easy to crush out. It's pretty low frequency, and if you've got somebody talking or whatever, you're not gonna really hear it. Okay, this is a sample of the fan noise coming off of the YN900. As you can see in camera, I have the mic pretty dang close to the fan. It's actually my second attempt to try to get the fan noise because it kicked on about 2 or 3 minutes ago for roughly 10 to 15 seconds and kicked back off again. I got the Rode running into a Zoom H5, about 8 inches away roughly. Set to 3.5 dB, and it's picking it up or whatever, but it's not crazy loud. Just something to be aware of when using these lights is they do have the fan, they do kick on. Alright, I'm going to set the mic up where I had it before, doing the review portion, and the light is the same distance that I had the YN900. I am set for my voice with the fan in the same spot. Alright, so I'm just going to let this run for a second for the ambient noise to kind of hear what that sounds like. Okay, and next I'm just going to do a quick comparison between the YN900 and the YN600. I'm popping handheld right here to just do a quick side-by-side between the YN600 on the left and the YN900 on the right. They're roughly the same size. The YN900 is just a little bit thicker. I'll put them on top of each other here real quick. You can see a little better like that. They're roughly the same width. I mean, it's right on top of each other. I can't tell the difference in size that way. The front of the panels, where the beads are, you can see the density difference between the 900 and the 600. Right on the right here is the 900, and on the left is the 600. Getting close right here. Roughly the density right there. And the 900 is packed. Much thicker all the way around. I'm not going to sit here and count them, but I trust that it is actually 900 in there. Roughly the same layout on the back as well. Got the two L-mount sockets and temperature settings that adjust with the fan knob. Whereas we got a cycle one over here. We got fine and rough, got the channel selector, and then the battery selector, which is one switch here with channel switched on these buttons there. Dimmer's in the same spot, fan's in the same spot. Looks to be a little bit bigger of a fan here than on this one. I don't think you can tell in the video, it's pretty dark in here. But roughly same layout, same size, everything. For what is about $15-20 US more, I think it's a pretty dang good panel. I paid $170 for the 900, and I paid about $145 for the 600 about 5 or 6 months ago.